I need new music.
This is the JJO Discover New Music Podcast.
Well, welcome once again to another episode of Discover New Music. Very excited for our guest. We've had him here before, and it's always a joy to have him on from Skillet, Mr. John Cooper. John, how are you, my friend?
Hey, good. Thanks for having me on again. I appreciate it.
Always great to talk new music from Skillet, which I don't know if you guys know this or not. You've put out quite a bit of music. You stay busy. I don't know where you find the time between the studio work, relentless touring, family life, all that stuff. But happy to say that Revolution dropped November 1st, 2024. It's been out there marinating in the world. People are loving it, eating it up. I know you guys have been enjoying getting that new music out there. I do want to kick things off, though, with this, John, and I don't want to make you feel old. I don't want to give you a complex about anything. You're still at the top of your game. But when I was doing my research on Wikipedia, again, you take it for what it is, but this is what it said, and I quote: "Skillet is the debut studio album by American Christian rock band Skillet." Straightforward there. Released October 29th, 1996. As an enhanced CD and audio cassette. I stopped immediately, John, when I read audio cassette, and then I did the math as we sit now on the precipice of almost 30 years of Skillet. You now have multiple generations, and this is a real scenario, John. You could have a grandfather taking his grandson to a Skillet show because they're both fans. How does that set in, John?
Well, just so you know, that is not a hypothetical. We do have have grandparents bringing their grandkids. Is one time, I'm not lying, 4 generations.
Wow.
And I looked at what is that? The great, however it works. And I was like, are you sure you like Skillet? And she's like, oh, I'm an old rockin' woman. You know, she's like, I loved it when Elvis came out, and I was just thinking, this is not. I always tell people, you go to a Skillet show, it's like going to see Aerosmith, but with 5% of the fans. But nobody knows this, but we're just like Aerosmith. Dream on. Anyway, I love it, man. 30 years, so 26. So next year will be 30-year anniversary. Had you told me when we were making that first record, I wouldn't have believed it. I never thought. I honestly never thought hardly anybody would ever hear a Skillet. I just thought, dude, this is going to be really fun. We're on a really small indie label. Release a couple records. I get to tour, try it. It'll be fun. 5 years, maybe 7 years, and then get a real job. And which I'm not good at anything else. I don't know what I'd be doing. But the fans have been so generous with us, so loyal, and so thank you to the fans.
And it really is. And of course, if you go out and see a Skillet show, whether they've seen you 100 times or the first time, it's always a spectacle. One I still remember that stands out. It was insane. And I know nothing has changed, but it was at Summerfest years ago in Milwaukee. And you guys had cellos on risers and flames, and it was insane. And I think that just speaks volumes for the dedication that you guys have put in, even all those years ago, starting in 1996 and now 30 years later. And I just love it. And now new music with Revolution, and that Skillet journey continues. Album number 12. I want to talk about this being the first Skillet album to be released independently. Now, as a band, what's the significance in that for you guys in having this first independently released work?
Man, honestly, it's going to sound cheesy, but that's what we do, right? I'm just honest. It feels like a rebirth, you know? It feels like, oh man, I'm starting over. Like I have that sort of youth, like when you first start your band and you feel like, whatever it takes, I'm going to do this. And you're driving the van, you're changing a tire in the middle of a ditch at 3 a.m. because you're trying to make it to your next show so you can get paid $50 and pizza. Okay. And pizza,
of course,
which is fine with me. You know, any brand will do, you know, I feel that again. It's pretty cool. I mean, you know how it is these days with people taking little snippets and making it sound like something I'm not saying. So I want to be dead clear so nobody does that. I loved my time at Atlantic Records. I was on Atlantic for 20 years. It's a long time, 20 years. Brilliant people. without it, I mean, Atlantic changed my life. We would not be here without Atlantic. Changed my life. I loved it. But also it was just time to do something new. It's not critical, just time to do something new. And the good part about it for me is that it removes a lot of red tape. Right. That was my one sort of thing I just wanted to not do anymore, because it's such a big machine. You have to have a lot of people signing off on the record. Now, if I'm talking to you today and you say something that really sparks my juices, and I go, oh crap, I want to write a song about that, and I write a song today. Yep. If I want to release it next week, I can. Right. Nobody can stop me because I own it, and I can do whatever I want to do. And I need it. I need that freedom. I think I've earned it. I've earned the freedom to do it. That is the brilliant part of it for me, and I think that also falls in line. I'm sorry this answer is so long, but it falls in line with just the fact that how Skillet has run our career, for better or for worse, is that we are just real. We're authentic. We don't try to put on airs for anybody. We never try to be something we're not. Right. And we just go, oh, this is us. And I think there's a certain naivety to that, but there's a certain charm to it that even people that maybe don't believe the things that I believe, most people know that I'm a Christian. I talk about my faith a lot. Mm-hmm. Even if they're not Christians, I think they realize that I'm not being judgmental to them if they're not. This is just me. Me and you can be friends no matter what you believe. And I meet people that say, they're like, man, I like that you talk about your faith. They're like, I'm not a Christian, but I like that. I think it's kind of cool. I think it's very American. Maybe that's part of it. It's a very American spirit, isn't it? Like, hey, nobody owns me, Right. There's an American revolutionary thing about that I think other people, especially other dudes, I think dudes get it. I know that I do. I certainly get that with the music that I listen to. All sorts of people that I don't agree with, but I'm like, I just like that they have the balls to say it.
I commend you guys again, because I know it's a big undertaking, and the whole album producing process, the writing, the recording, then putting it out there, making sure people get it. And I think this next step, this rebirth, as you put it, for Skillet, is just going to lead to even more exciting things. Also, though, too, on the flip side of the coin, having that freedom, also, I'm sure maybe a few nerves in there going, oh boy, it's on us now if this doesn't go well, whatever it may be. Did you have a few nerves maybe that first time in the studio with this first official independent album?
It's funny. Yes and no. I wouldn't say that I felt the nerves when we were writing. When we were writing, I was just doing what I usually do. And I will say it actually had the opposite effect. It was extremely liberating because I didn't have to it didn't matter what somebody else says, and to just to be true and real on the show, because that's what we're here for. This is the brilliance of doing these kind of interviews. You can just be real. I think that I think it's fair to say that no one knows what's going to hit. Mm-hmm. And so labels sometimes, it's their job to act like they know what's going to hit, but they don't know. Nobody knows. And so in my experience, here's a real life story. 2009, I was begging my label to let us record a record. Mm-hmm. It had been 3 years since our record before it. It was a hit record. It was a gold record called Comatose. And I was like, guys, I got to record. And they said, John, you just don't have a radio single yet. And I said, well, I have this song, Monster. I think it's pretty good. And they said, it is good, but it's not a hit. Yeah. And I said, well, I've also got a song, as you know, called Hero, and I think Hero is good. And they said, we actually do think that Hero is good, but we think it's too Christian to be a hit at rock radio. And I said, well, I've got a song called Awake and Alive. And they said, to be honest, we don't even think that song is good. It shouldn't even go on the record.
Oh my God.
And so, you know, here we are all these years later. Monster has sold 6 million singles. Heroes sold 3 million singles. Awake and Alive sold 2 million singles. None of them were going to be radio hits. Now, I'm not making fun of the label. What I'm saying is that no one knows. And so now I'm liberated to just write what I feel, and it's made it fun again. And that sounds cheesy, but I feel like a kid. Like, oh, that's what it was like to write when I didn't have everybody saying, no, it's not a hook, it's too this, it's too that. It's not hard enough, it's too hard. It's not melodic enough, it's too melodic. It's too spiritual, it's too that. I'm just, I just don't want that. And make the music that I want to make. But yes, when the record was coming out, dude, that is when the nerves hit. I was like, oh gosh, if this bombs, they're going to be like, I knew that band sucked. I knew they didn't know what they were doing. They could never do it. But just, I just want to say 2 things. Number 1, if I fail, I want to fail because of me. I don't want to fail because I trusted someone else, even though I didn't want to. That's a bad feeling. It really is a bad feeling. And the second thing I want to say, just to reiterate, I worked with the best in the business. I mean, my A&R guys at Atlantic Records are literally the most successful A&R people in the business. They're brilliant people. It doesn't mean that nobody ever knows. And so there were times when they said, John, we love this song, and I think you should do it. And I thought, I don't really think they're right, and they were right. So I'm wrong as much as anybody else, just to make that clear.
And I don't think anyone is going to be concerned on this point with the relationship from before and what you guys are doing now moving forward. Because like you mentioned, and I think is a really important thing, is you've earned this spot. The band has earned this spot to now really just, take care of you and yours. And with this new record, we get to see that Revolution. Again, it's out now, your 12th album. You guys have all the blood, sweat, and tears in that on all aspects, and it really shows. Let's talk about the title. And I've heard you mention Revolution a couple times in this, and you've discussed this on other platforms, and that's why I brought this up, because I thought it was really interesting how you described it. And for our listeners, revolution in this day and age almost is like a dirty word, but when you guys put that moniker on this album, that's not at all what you were going for. It's much different for that. Could you explain kind of the meaning behind that?
Yeah. So I'm glad you brought that up, actually. That is why on the album cover, I put a tiny little Bible verse on the side of the end of the flag. And the reason I put that there, it just says 1 Corinthians 13:13, is because that scripture says, these things remain. In other words, these things will never go away. It's the most important things: faith, hope, and love. And the greatest is love. That's what the verse says. I put that on there so that everybody would understand that when I say revolution, I am absolutely not talking about political revolution. I am not talking about some sort of, taking over the government or I don't know, armed, militaristic. Right. We want to burn things down. In fact, I mean, if anything, most people know, as far as government and things like that goes, I'm extremely patriotic. I love America. They know that my values would be to keep America. I love it. I think it's the greatest country in the world. So it's absolutely none of those things. It's more of a spiritual revolution. And here's why I say that. And I know not everybody listening is religious or whatever. And that's totally fine. But I think everybody will know what I mean when I say this. Right now, we have, the highest rates of teen suicide in American history. We've got to turn this around. I mean, we need a revolution, if you will, some sort of spiritual revolution. Maybe that's not the right word for some people. We need something that changes the story for these young people. These young people have been raised with these stupid phones. I mean, there's a lot of good that happens with these phones, but I'll tell you what, you hand a kid a cell phone and they have a gateway into things that they are not ready to see. And I'm a parent. And I'm assuming a lot of people are parents. You don't have to be religious, or you don't have to even agree with me about a lot of stuff to know you don't want your 5 and 6-year-old kid finding some disgusting pornographic whatever on nobody wants that. It doesn't matter if you're religious or not. Doesn't make you a prude because you don't want your 7-year-old discovering pornography. It is scientifically proven that it changes your brain. It makes you see people in ways that we're not meant to see people. It's bad. Not only that, you begin cyberbullying. You've got these 12-year-old kids being literally told to kill themselves. It's so heartbreaking. I'm sorry if I'm harping on it or going too deep, but I have one of my best friends' kid is autistic, and he gets made fun of at school and stuff like that. And there was a group chat where they began to bully him and began to say the world would be better without you. How do you even live? And things like that. And I hate it. It's so devastating. We have to turn this story around. And then the hatred, the anger, whether it's over politics or whether it's over religion or whether it's over whatever. I just want to see that turned around. And I think that most Americans agree, no matter what political side of the aisle, I think most Americans now are going, okay, it would be good to be able to talk to, it'd be good to talk to someone else that doesn't agree with me without us hating each other. Right. We're next door neighbors for crying. Come over, have a barbecue, have a drink. Let's calm down, everybody. That's what the revolution is about. Yeah. It's saying, can we begin to love one another again? It's okay for you to disagree. It's okay for you to say what you believe. I don't mind that. Last thing I'll say about it, I'm just a very big believer in things like freedom of speech. Most of my crew is not Christian, do not vote the way that I vote. We disagree on tons and tons of things, but people might be interested to know that, they've been working for me for like 15 years. It's been a long time. And in the rock industry, you go and you've been working for the same band for 15 years? That's a long time. Yep. Because we love each other. We don't agree, and who cares? Shut up. Right. So that's what revolution is about.
I love it. A revolution in love from Skillet, I think, is a great way to put on that. And I love that you are so open with it, and I think more people could benefit from doing that and having that open conversation and hearing everyone out without the judging, without the hate, without the disgust. And I thought that was great, and I appreciate you sharing the story behind that and the meaning behind that, because I think it's very important for everyone to know what Skillet was going for, what you guys are going for with Revolution. So much deeper than just a cool looking album with you on there. I will tell you though, my favorite is what was the album where you had the blonde hair? What was that one? Do you remember?
Don't mention that. Don't mention that one. What are you doing to me? It's been 30 years. No, I'm joking with you. It's called Invincible. I know exactly what you're talking about.
No beard, the blondest hair, and it was beautiful. It was beautiful, but still very cool with this one. Thank you. Let's talk. Let's break down favorite track, and if that's a goofy way to put it or too complicated, maybe a track that really speaks to you on this record.
You know how it is when you talk to bands, like they always like maybe the songs that don't come out are the radio singles, right? It's always like that. They're always like, oh, track 10 is track 15.
The hidden track, it's my favorite one.
Oh my gosh, I was about to say that, dude. I was about to say, do you remember when they had the hidden tracks?
Of course.
My gosh, man. Oh, we're dating ourselves, bro.
I tell you what.
We're dating ourselves. There's a song on the record that I really like. It's called Not Afraid. I think one of the reasons I like it, it's kind of rewinding back to what you were asking me earlier about being independent. There's a producer and a songwriter that I worked with called Brian Howes. Brian Howes produced my Comatose record in 2006. And then he produced a record called Unleashed in 2016. So we had a decade in between there. And Brian is most noted probably for writing and recording the Hinder records, the first Hinder record with those Lips of an Angel. Remember that? Yep. Say so sweet, coming from the Lips of an Angel. Oh, that's a good song.
That
man.
is a good one.
Oh my gosh, that record was such a smash. Anyway,
Massive, yeah.
Yeah, he did that record. We became really good friends. And so I just had some songs and I said, man, I want this to sound like the record you made for us in '06. Like I want you to be in charge of recording it in the way we recorded that record.
Wow.
Because it had a different sound. It was more organic. I mean, technology's come a long way since then, which is great, but maybe we kind of we go a little bit lower fi and we make it sound like that, and we have the strings and we have the drums, and so we recorded the song called Not Afraid. This sounds like it's on that Comatose album because that was a very nostalgic thing for me. And part of being independent was that I didn't have to cut the red tape. I didn't have to go through all the red tape of getting the label. And no, maybe he's not the best producer. Well, John, you realize that that's an older sound. I don't really know if you want to go backwards. Is it good to go backwards, or is it better to do something new?
Right.
Let's get more people involved. I don't know if I like the song. Oh, just saying it's making my heart race, brother. So I was like, no, I want it to sound like that, and I can do whatever I want, by God. So I called my friend Brian, and he's like, dude, we're going to make it sound just like it. And we did. We even it has this, I think, killer guitar solo. Yeah. And I said, I want it to be harmony, like Avenged Sevenfold. I want it to sound like Bat Country, okay? Like we got to go back to that, make the tone. I don't know what they did for that tone, but make the tone sound like Avenged, and because I'm a fan, and let's bring these things together, and honestly, we just nailed it. It sounds so much like it, and so it's nostalgic for me, and I hope the fans feel that nostalgia.
Yeah, I love it. Did you tell them you wanted to sound how you did when you had blonde hair? Is that what you went with?
Yeah. I said, pretend to have no beard and then blonde hair. But then I just get disrespected. They're like, yeah, I've got no respect for you. With the bottle of peroxide bleaching my hair. Remember that? That's Eminem, right?
Yeah, that's right. Oh,
who knew with looking for a T-shirt to wear? It was the late '90s. Yeah. It was a different time period, man.
Believe me, I had the cap with the hair pulled through to do the frosted tips, so I'm right there with you, brother. I'm right there with you.
Frosted tips may be the only thing just as bad as the full
puka shell necklace, frosted tips, the pop collar, cripes Alfredo.
You're even worse because you know the word puka shell. I mean, nobody's ever even heard of that. Who are you?
I asked for it specifically. I don't say I need that white neck. I need the puka shell necklace, please.
That's when you know you're in deep.
I'm in deep, buddy. I'm in deep. Well, it's so great talking music with you, and I'm so happy for you guys with this 12th album, and everyone's been eating it up on all over the place, and for good reason. Just Skillet once again bringing it in this next stage, because I mean, really, you guys have you've kind of come full circle a couple times now, and you've seen it all and recorded it all, and it's great to see, and we're just super excited for you, buddy. I really appreciate it, man.
Those are very kind words. I sure appreciate the support. It's taken warmly. I thank you, and a huge thank you to all the fans supporting us for so long, all the way back. I cannot believe we're still a band, and we owe it to you, so thank you very much.
30 years of being entertained and entertaining, so it's great. Well, now that we got the important stuff out of the way, can you do a quick round of rapid fire before we get out of here? How's that sound?
Man, I love rapid fire. Let's do it.
All right. I got some new ones, I think, from the last time, so I'm excited to see your answers. Let's start simple. Sneakers or sandals?
Sneakers.
Not a thong sandal kind of guy. That's what I wear all the time.
Do you? I was about to say, sandals are for people who wear puka shell necklaces.
You son of a... Got me there. I'll edit this part out.
Edit that out. That's terrible.
Billy Ocean or Billy Idol?
Idol.
Oh, very nice. That was quick.
Vital Idol.
Oh, wow. Bringing it up. He just put out a song not too long ago, too, didn't he? Like a couple years ago? And it was a good one.
I actually didn't know that. I got to go check it out.
God, he's fantastic. Still looks great.
I mean, and he looks amazing.
I don't know how.
No, exactly. And one of the brilliant things, I'm sorry, I'm ruining your rapid fire.
You're good.
The brilliant things about Billy Idol was that he somehow made punk pop.
Yeah.
How in the world did you manage to do that? It was genius.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well,
Rapid fire.
No. You bring a guy who does an Elvis snarl, bleach blonde hair, leather jacket, but does pop. No, he's one of the best. And he was in The Wedding Singer as well. So you can't forget about
Yes.
that. New England clam chowder or a creamy tomato bisque.
Tomato bisque.
Very nice with a nice fancy grilled cheese. I knew that.
Oh.
That's right there. But of course, so you got to watch out with the beard. I know soup is dangerous for you. It is.
Oh, you need beard tips. If you have a beard, you cannot eat anything, literally anything, without a napkin.
Right.
Don't even start. It's going to get bad. Just have it ready.
Get that brawny roll and you're ready to go.
Yeah.
Last one, and this is a good one for you because you're a fit guy. You're in good shape. You're keeping it good. Chuck Norris roundhouse at 100% power or a Mike Tyson punch at 50% power.
Oh, you mean which one would I rather take?
Which one would you rather take? That's right.
Oh, probably the Tyson.
Take the Tyson.
Yeah. Because the what do they say? The strongest leg, the strongest muscle in the body is like your leg. You know, because it's so long. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, the power of a Chuck Norris.
A Walker Texas Ranger Action Gene roundhouse. You're not walking away from that, buddy. You're done.
You stay away from Chuck Norris. You stay away from Chuck.
Even at this age, I think I would.
Oh yeah. I love it. Did you watch the Expendables films?
I did. Unfortunately.
I love the Expendables. And when Chuck Norris shows up for 1 second and he's like, I heard you were dead. Dad died in the desert. He's like, yeah, I got bit by that. I got bit by that cobra. And after 5 days of excruciating pain, the cobra died.
It's Chuck Norris, baby. It's Chuck Norris.
I'm paying. I pay for that. I'll pay to watch that. They earned my money right there.
Every time. Oh, my God. Well, hey, thank you for humoring me again, John. But more importantly, thank you for talking new music. Revolution. It's out now. Skillet. Go get it. It is always a pleasure. You are just a hell of a guy. And I love having you on, man. I really appreciate it, brother.
Oh, thank you. Likewise. Have a great one. I hope to see y'all soon.
Listen, rate, share, subscribe. Discover new music now at WJJO.com, in the JJO app, or wherever you get your podcasts. Brock has a new interview every Thursday evening between 6 and 7. 94.1 JJO.